The Woodward Sports Network presents a sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go, Monday, March 21st, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my buddy? How you been, man?
First of all, it's really good to see you today.
I appreciate that, man.
You can't take a day off around here because you never know what's going to happen when you do.
I watched. I saw Adam. Adam was full of life, full of energy.
Wild, man. Adam Baydoun sat in for Braylon on Friday, and I'm just thankful that I wasn't fired from my job because of what Adam said.
Yeah, Adam's a little loose with the F words, man. But you know, he brings great content. He's fun. He's funny. He's very researched. That is one thing I will say. The man is very researched. He knows his info. He knows his sports. He knows what he's talking about. But he likes to have a lot of fun too.
Nonetheless, the band is back together on this Monday. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, fellas. Good to be back. Monday. NFL always still on top of the mind, huh?
Absolutely. And
Matty Ice.
I'm telling you, just moments ago, big trade in the NFL. Matt Ryan is traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the Indianapolis Colts for just a third-round pick. The Falcons will receive a 2022 third-round pick from Indianapolis. Braylon, this is an incredible deal for the Indianapolis Colts. Not so much if you're the Atlanta Falcons, but my goodness, the Colts have been desperate for a quarterback, and they got one today.
Yeah, huge deal for them, man. You know, Mitchell Trubisky, they were out on that one. They were out on Deshaun Watson. You know, they were out on Russell Wilson. You see these quarterbacks just kind of disappearing off the board, and they're looking for a guy to jump in, replace Carson Wentz, so that they can keep their defense and their offense, because they do have Jonathan Taylor. They do have some weapons at the wide receiver spot, and they do have a pretty decent line. So they still have a playoff integrity type team. So to get Matt Ryan, a guy that is a leader, is a veteran, is a guy that knows how to make plays, knows how to win. It's huge for them.
What did I tell you the other day when we were going over how many teams could win the Super Bowl? And I said the Colts,
14 were.
If they get a quarterback, they got a Super Bowl quarterback. Not a question about it. They really hit it big. Now next is Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield. Who's Atlanta going to have as their quarterback?
Atlanta's got nobody at quarterback, and this from Ari Mayrov.
Mayrov. Yeah.
The Falcons are going to take on $40.5 million in dead cap money by trading away Matt Ryan. That's the largest dead cap charge in the history of the NFL. So basically,
just so they don't pay $7.5 million to him
so they don't pay $7.5 million in Braylon, because you know they were so close to getting Deshaun Watson. I mean, they made no secret about it that they were going to make a real play for Deshaun Watson, and after you commit to that, after you do that, we saw that with Baker Mayfield in the Cleveland Browns, too, even before Deshaun Watson agreed to play for the Browns. Yeah. Baker Mayfield was done. Matt Ryan, although publicly didn't say it, Matt Ryan was done in Atlanta once you do these things. So, you know, I don't know what it is, but apparently you're not allowed to go try to get a better player, right, without somebody being offended.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can understand Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's a guy that's been there. I don't know the conversation that was had behind closed doors, or when they were attempting to go for Deshaun Watson, or if they even had any. But yeah, you feel the type of way. You've been there. You know, it's like, hey, if this is your plan, if you guys want to go after him, then just know that, you know, I don't want to be here moving forward. Like, I don't know what that conversation was, but if that's what you want to do as an organization. I mean, look at Cleveland Browns. Right. Cleveland Browns, they made no bones about it. They went after, and oh, by the way, they got Deshaun Watson. So if I'm Baker, I'm like, hey, I asked to get out of here. You said no, then you went and got Deshaun Watson. You know what? If your franchise wants to go in a different direction and they make it known that, you know, they think they can do better than you, then you have every right to want to get the hell out of there.
And if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you sit there, you got the Calvin Ridley situation right now. You've got no offensive line. Matt Ryan is now gone. You're $40.5 million in
the franchise.
In dead cap money. Well, that's one way to look at it. But number two, this is very easy now to see what the Falcons are trying to do. I mean, you now go hard for that number one overall pick in next year's draft, because unlike this year, there will be a true number one next year. You're going to have the pick of the litter when it comes to Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Whoever you think is going to catapult your franchise to a Super Bowl championship level over the next decade and a half, that guy is in next year's draft. At least we think he is. So
bet right now under on Atlanta, whatever the hell they are, because they are in dump mode. No question.
Let me ask you this question. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, you said just wait till next year, correct? Mm-hmm. Because there isn't that quarterback. At 8, what do you do if you're the Falcons?
You take the best player available.
Take the best player available.
Regardless of who that guy is.
Yeah.
Regardless of who that player is. And maybe you even try to trade back. And acquire more picks because you are now in total and complete rebuild mode.
Maybe they like Malik Willis.
Or if they like that player, sure. But if I gave the Atlanta Falcons general manager or head coach an option of Malik Willis and or Bryce Young, who are they taking?
Bryce Young.
Yeah. So then you try to build up every aspect. This is not a one-year draft.
You might not get him. If you have Malik Willis on the board at 8, they're taking him.
You might not have Malik Willis on the board at 8.
That's why they're going to come up to number 2, and we're going to give them number 2.
Yeah, for me, it's just interesting. I look at the Atlanta Falcons, and I look at them as an organization and say, hey, you know what? We drafted number 2 overall. Jake Long went number 1 overall in that 2008 draft. But I'm looking like, hey, we drafted Matt Ryan, and this guy was the answer to our future. This guy was our problem, got us to a Super Bowl, actually won an MVP in there too. And I'm looking at the draft. Is there a guy in this draft that I think I can look at like Matt Ryan? Do I believe there's a guy in this draft that can be what Matt Ryan was to our franchise for the better part of 15 or 14 years? And the answer is no. So with you, I try to trade back, get more drafts, or take the best available player.
I love Matt Ryan. I'm a fan.
I do too.
I think he's a winning player.
Listen, man, we always compare him to Matthew Stafford. What's to say that this ain't the next Matthew Stafford move? The Colts are going to be there, man.
Well, it very well could be, but
great league, and we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah,
but the Colts are players now.
No, they absolutely are. The Indianapolis Colts were a quarterback away, really, from competing for a Super Bowl this year. But Carson Wentz was such a disaster. Yeah. They thought they had Deshaun Watson or were going to make a serious attempt for Deshaun Watson. Houston decides we're not going to trade him within the division. So then Indianapolis, and Louis Riddick pointed this out on social media just a couple of minutes ago, Indianapolis remained patient. They waited for their guy. They didn't jump at Baker Mayfield, which probably would have been the easy thing to do. And now Baker Mayfield's left out there. I don't know. I really like the Colts this year. The only thing about the Colts is they play in this AFC in which 12 of 16 teams in the AFC believe they're going to compete for a Super Bowl championship. That is insane.
Like you said, patience. They were very patient. They waited for their guy. Patience is a virtue, so they waited for their guy, and they got Matt Ryan. The only issue, not issue, wrong word. The only concern that I have with Matt Ryan is if you look at the history of Atlanta Falcons while he was there, they had a ton of great offensive players. They had a ton of good offensive lines. Hell, they had one of the best centers that's played in the last 25 years, in Alex Mack. You look at Taylor Gabriel and Austin Hooper and Roddy White and Julio Jones is Taylor Gabriel, Mohamed Sanu, Freeman, Tevin Coleman from Indiana. The list goes on in terms of the abundance of talent. Calvin Ridley. The list goes on of the abundance of talent that they've had on the offensive side of the ball. One of the biggest things we complained about in Detroit is they didn't put a backfield around Matt Stafford, or he didn't have somebody to go on the other side of Calvin Johnson when he was in his prime before he retired and had Golden Tate. That's not the case in Atlanta. He had everything that he could possibly want from an offensive perspective of getting in the huddle with guys and looking around and noticing Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler and good players after good players, and he couldn't get it done. If he couldn't get it done in his prime, I don't think he can get it done, but to your point, he is an experienced quarterback, and at least they got a guy that won't make mistakes. But in terms of winning, he had all that you can have for 14 years and couldn't get it done.
That's a great point, Braylon. At the same time, you think about these teams that are championship contenders too. I mean, we talk about there's probably 16 to 19 teams in the NFL that we believe could win a Super Bowl next year. Yeah. I mean, these teams are stacked. The amount of talent in the NFL is unlike anything we've ever seen. There's these rosters up and down the way are so filled with guys who are so skilled at their specific positions. And I'm not sure if that's like what the major reason is for that, other than
In terms of now, why guys are so good.
I mean, guys are so good now.
Oh, I got the answer to that. I mean, what time are we? Oh, we still got time in this segment. That's what I love. I missed you.
Yeah,
man.
I miss you, baby.
buddy. Well, the reason what I would say to that is if you're looking at what kids are doing from a young youth perspective, now parents are running these kids around the country, around the state, and finding like the best ways to work out. Kids are literally on Instagram, they're on YouTube, they're in programs, they're with coaches, they're with individual coaches. They're working on skill at 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. By the time guys get to middle school and high school, these guys are ready.
Yeah.
By the time they finish high school, they're ready to come into college and start. See, it wasn't like that like back when I was playing, and even before that. It was more so when you came in, it's all right, cool. It's going to take a year or two in college to kind of get your footing, you know what I'm saying, get led, know what to do, then kind of take over. You get to the league, same thing, couple of years. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had to wait 5 years before he started at quarterback. I had to wait a year almost. So it's like, that was then. This is now. Guys are coming in. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, because they're gone through so much of that stuff from quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are 7 years old going to camps. They're getting trained.
I know it, man.
You see these coaches on YouTube. You see them on social media. You see them on TV. So they're working out on a pro level type of exercises and drills at a much younger age.
I just can't remember the league ever being as good. And again, that's something we'll really dive into in just a little bit. But this NFL is as good as it has ever been. I want to make a quick station note. Earlier today, it was announced that Terry Foster, he's coming back full time to Sports Talk. I guess.
Sports Talk.
Sports Talk. I was going to say Sports Talk Radio, but even though we are on the radio too, but nonetheless, Terry Foster coming back to Sports Talk Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 8 to 10 on that morning Woodward show. He and Adam Baydoun and Maddie, they're going to mix it up a little bit, and man, that is a show worth watching, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Terry Foster is one of the Detroit legends as it relates to journalism. I was reading his articles and listening to him on the radio years ago when my dad was doing this song and dance, and now here I am doing it. Very proud and happy to be working with him full time, because he's a guy that has a wealth of knowledge. He's a guy you can learn from. But even bigger than that, he speaks his point. Like, you're not going to take T. Foss off his point.
Nope.
Speaks his point, speaks his truth. He goes at it, man, and no apologies. I can't wait to see those two work together.
I've been working with Terry a long time. I started with him back in the day. Then we hit it up right before here. We did a podcast together with Jimmy King, and here he is again here on Woodward Sports. I'm very happy. I'm proud that he's here with us.
Terry Foster starts April 4th with Adam Baydoun and Maddie on the Morning Woodward Show. Really excited to make that announcement here at Woodward Sports.
And our boy Jeff's not going anywhere.
No,
either.
absolutely. Jeff Iafrate is going to be a big part of the network moving forward as well. So Jeff sticks with us, and we are growing here at Woodward Sports and kicking butt and taking names. That's right.
Hey, I want to ask you guys something when we come back.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, if you're an Atlanta Falcon fan, are you good with what the team tried to do? Now compare it to what the Lions. Be a Lion fan. And were you happy that the Lions didn't give it their all to try to get Deshaun Watson? I mean, it's two different situations here.
Atlanta thought they were going to get him. Atlanta thought
Atlanta
until
Falcon
the 11th hour that they were going to get Deshaun Watson.
If you're a Falcons fan now, you know damn well you're going down the toilet for the next couple of years, probably.
I'll answer that question as honestly as I can. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Network Sports, the bottom line. Welcome back on Monday.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. That's right. And one of the things you can do at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men is you can win $100,000. That's right. You heard me correctly. All you have to do is get to a Lady Jane's today, get a precision haircut, and register for your chance to be 6 figures richer. That's right. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Over 100 locations nationwide, many of them right here in the Metro Detroit area. They'll treat you like a king. Several talented stylists and open every day, 7 days a week, open from 10 to 8. Walk in anytime, relax, watch your favorite team play. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Register to win $100K. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
So before the break, and the breaking news that happened just moments before our show started was that Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, traded their longtime starting quarterback to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for a third-round pick. So now basically the Falcons are in total rebuild mode. So Tom Mazawey, before the break, asked the question, are you okay if you're a Falcons fan by the fact that Atlanta swung and missed on Watson, barely missed, by the way, and now have had to trade it away their longtime starting quarterback and are basically going to have a terrible season now, $40.5 million in dead cap money just on Matt Ryan alone, and you start the rebuild? And Braylon, I think the answer to that question is a resounding yes.
Yes.
If I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, I say bravo to my organization for going out there and trying to get Watson.
Yeah.
And you know what? You didn't get him, and it was probably no fault of their own. They thought they had him dead to rights before Cleveland came in at the 11th hour and just made him an offer that you just simply cannot match.
Yeah, this is the largest acquisition. This is the largest offseason acquisition, I think, in the history of the NFL. You know, they waited until the criminal case was decided, which we'll get into that later, too, talking about Deshaun Watson, how people feel about that. But they waited, and then they went after it. They went all the way in. They put all their poker chips in the middle of the table, and they said, we're all in. We see what he is. We see the value that he has. We know he can take this franchise to the next step or to the next level. So you have to be happy with what they did. You have to say, hey, at least you know what? They still are here. Arthur Blank, they still are here. They still are trying to win into 2022. The interesting thing about the coach for Matt Ryan, my bad, I'm looking back at that tweet. I want to take it back 2 seconds. Alex brought up something when we were talking before the show. It was like, all they got was a third-round pick for Matt Ryan. That's it, third-round pick. I mean, you're talking about a guy that legitimately, his stats, they're very consistent every year. He's over that 4,600. He's 26 touchdowns in, about 10 interceptions. He's done that every year with the exception of last year. He was only drafted 1 year after Matt Stafford, and you see what the going rate was for him last year.
You know, the thing about the third-round pick, too, is once you have a player you know is done with you, I mean, once you've made the commitment to Deshaun Watson to go after him, you've pretty much nixed any opportunity that Matt Ryan comes back for you, because those relationships have probably been severed, and a team knows they don't have to give you much of anything because they know that player is going to be traded away. You're at that point, Matt Ryan was forced out.
Only problem, you're 100% correct. The only thing I would think, though, is the Colts are desperate. Like, the Colts are desperate for a quarterback, and to get the one that they got. So, I mean, I guess I can see both sides explaining it that way, but at least a fifth. And that was all Alex had said, that. But at least a 3 and a 5.
Throw in a 5, too.
Like, damn, throw in a 3 and a 5.
Hey,
Matt Stafford went for 2 firsters and a quarterback.
Matty Ice knew the deal because he was supposed to get this bonus, $7.5 million last week. So the Falcons said, hey, we're trying to get Deshaun Watson. We're going to get you your money somehow, some way. Can you wait a few days? And he's like, okay. But you know what? They probably said, I'm not playing here anymore. You're going to trade me. I bet you he picked the Colts. I bet you, when it comes down to it, the Lions gave Matthew Stafford his destination when they could have traded him to other teams, as we've heard in the past. I bet you Matt Ryan and Atlanta had a backdoor deal here that he wanted to go to Indianapolis.
And that goes to say what we talked about with Von Miller. We talked about talked about with Matt Stafford last year. Talked about with Von Miller during the middle of the season. When you're a guy that you take relationships serious, when you do right by relationships, those guys were good guys to the franchise, good guys in the city, good guys on the field. You know, they may not have always won the amount of games you wanted them to, but those guys you could count on, you know, on the field, off the field. So you do right by those guys. And Matt Ryan is no different. He's one of those guys as well. And so the Falcons organization wanted to make sure they did right by him, and I think they did.
Matt, you asked the question, though. If you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, do you feel good this morning about what the team did?
I do.
I do too.
I do. And you know what? They got the most out of Matt Ryan. They should have won the Super Bowl. They didn't. Coaching staff let them down in that Super Bowl against New England, 28-3. You got to close that game out. He was terrific for them. He is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I still think he's very talented and he's going to go places. Now, I'm the Lions, and we all know the direction they're going in. They're sticking with Jared Goff. Who knows what they're going to draft at number 2 coming up here. They got 2, 32, and 34. 3 biggest picks in the last 20 years probably for the Detroit Lions. I just want to know if other Lion fans are a little disappointed that the Lions didn't maybe roll the dice and try to get involved in this Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
Yeah, just getting right back to the Matt Ryan deal just for 2 seconds. He has been a very consistent quarterback. I was just going back looking at some of those stats. And he's been 47, starting in 2011, man, 4,700, 4,700, 45, 46, 45, 5,004. Like, he's been right there. But going to the Lions about Deshaun Watson, are you mad that they didn't get in on it? Here's the thing that I want to preface it with, or the undercurrent. I think Brad Holmes and the Lions have maybe done, they've gone after some people very quietly, very discreetly. That's what it seems like this year. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but it just seems like they've gone after some people very quietly. Like they've inquired about some players. Hey, would this work? Hey, what do you guys think about this deal? And when they've been turned down, they've been very quiet.
What makes you think that?
I just can't believe that they haven't looked at it. There's been so many players that could have helped this franchise, and not all of them old. Not all of them.
I'm with you here.
Yeah, not all of them 29 years old.
But we didn't hear a word, Brad.
And we didn't hear a word.
That never happens.
Brad's a different dude. Like, we've been watching Brad move all season. He's been quiet all season. Even when you interview him after losses, after wins, the off season. You talked about the Senior Bowl interview that he did. Talked about at the Combine interview that he did. He doesn't give you much. Like, he talks good. He gives you enough. He lets you know the direction they want to go in terms of, the type of players they want, but he's not letting you know, tipping his hand to who he's drafting or who he's going after. So I think they've gone after some people. I don't think Deshaun Watson is one of them, man. You know what?
Hey, we all know the Browns are in better shape than the Lions. They are. They're ready to win. We're not ready to win yet. They are ready to win.
I don't know about that, though, man. It's like, it's easy to say that, and I see where you're coming from. They did win a playoff game. They still do have that offense kind of intact. You bring in Amari Cooper, the 2 running backs.
And Myles Garrett.
They redid his deal, by the way. They gave him his money up front. They gave Cooper his money up front.
They got a lot of skill on that team. They got a lot of players over there.
Look at that team.
They got a lot of players over there. Offensively,
it's one of those things where you start talking, and as you talk, you're like,
look,
let me shut up.
Show me a better.
There isn't.
That rivals the Chiefs. I think
it does.
Cleveland is way better at running back than Kansas City is.
That's better than the Chiefs.
But
besides tight end.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
a hell of a team. That's why. Remember last week I broued it up and we fought because you've been in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I said, why wouldn't you want to go play for that team? And you know what? He did. They paid him the money,
and that's
guaranteed.
That's really the caveat over all of this. Like, speaking of this Deshaun Watson thing, and $230 million guaranteed is something unlike we have never seen anything like this in the history of the NFL before. Right? They're essentially paying him $2.7 million.
And the way they structured it.
Right.
In case he gets fined, you see how the structure is? He only makes $1 million or something in the first.
Yeah, the first year.
In
case he gets suspended. Yeah. His base salary is $1 to $2 million this year. Yeah. So if he has to sit out any games, it comes out of that base salary. Then it kicks in year 2.
That's the deal.
So, why Cleveland? So many people thought he ruled Cleveland out. And it was between Atlanta and New Orleans. And Cleveland came in and said, no, we'll give you this. This was about money for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. And everything's about money, so it's not that.
And a chance to win.
It's a damn good team.
I agree with Maz on that. And a chance to win, because remember when we were talking Thursday, one of the big things I was talking about the teams that were up in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, a lot of them didn't have that offensive weapon, or they didn't have that core of weapons on offense that he could just jump into a system and play fit. The Cleveland Browns were the only ones, and then they got Amari Cooper. Now you add that. They were the only team that had an offense in the play that you can just plug and play. Plug Deshaun Watson, it's time to play.
Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. We certainly appreciate it. If you could, please hit that like button, smash that like button for us, and subscribe to Woodward Sports. We are approaching 22,000 subscribers now. We're growing over here at Woodward Sports. I want to stick with this Deshaun Watson conversation for a little bit, guys, because
the Lions are involved in this. I'll tell you why. They're number 2, right? Mm-hmm. 2 quarterback-starved teams are picking at 6 and 8. Malik Willis is the favorite to be landed at number 2. Remember last week we said
right.
Plus 380 on the Vegas board. The Lions, they're not picking at 2.
I knew. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are or they aren't.
They're not.
But the Deshaun Watson thing is very intriguing. Peter King wrote something very interesting today on Monday Morning Quarterback that I'd like to address with you guys as well. Just a way to look at this whole situation and other situations like it, because we have seen it before. So I want to ask you guys your take on that. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, bottom line.
Mornings in Detroit just got bigger. Starting April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show. That's right. The Motor City icon is now going to be on Woodward Sports every morning. So make sure you're waking up 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily to hear the Detroit legend along with Adam right here on Woodward Sports.
What do you get when you mix fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken with our savory signature sauces? The best damn wings you've ever had. Wing Snob Traditional Wings. Try our Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. And we toss them to perfection. When your wings are this good, it's easy to be a snob. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Hey, everybody, it is springtime. It is officially spring. We got to get that skin color looking good. Got to get that vitamin D in the body. And why not get a head start on spring? Head over Chili Peppers Tanning. You're going to find the cleanest salons in the D, spotless sanitized rooms, trained and certified tanning professionals. Don't forget, you join the Pepper Club. They'll take great care of you because they beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters, 26 locations, and more on the way. One right down the street from us here on Woodward Avenue. Check them out, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Thanks for tuning in on a Monday afternoon. I almost said Monday morning. What time is it, by the way?
You were great this morning, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show.
I like the way you protected us.
Maz gave me a big hug when I walked in the building, and we'll show you why coming up in just a little bit. But, Maz, you said something about the Lions here?
I did. I'm telling you, man, the Lions pick at number 2. We all know Hutchinson's going number 1 to Jacksonville. He is. It's done. Lions pick at 2. The word on the street is, well, the word in Vegas is that quarterback Malik Willis is shooting up the boards. He is tied with Kyle Hamilton at plus 380, meaning they pick him. They think one of those 2 guys will be going at pick number 2. At number 6, the Carolina Panthers. They have lost out on every quarterback out there. Jimmy Garoppolo's still out there, by the way. So is Baker Mayfield. And the Atlanta Falcons just let Matt Ryan go over to Indianapolis. Those 2 teams play in the same division. They are bitter rivals. One of them they both need a quarterback. I believe those are your trade partners for number 2. And God, if you can get anything for number 2, move to 6 or 8, you're still in great shape to pick up a phenomenal player.
Obviously, Brave, you can get the 6.
You got to get out of 2.
Yeah, if you can get out of 2, man, you gain draft capital, which is Neil Rulin, his favorite word, draft capital. But also, there's still a lot of good players, man, like really talented players in that top 20. So if you can get to 6, man, you can give yourself Sauce Gardner's up there. I think you get Darryl Stingley Jr.'s up there. Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker, Thibodeau. Because the word you hate to use, which is the narrative on Thibodeau, is that he's not that serious or that dialed in. So there's a ton of players that you would be able to get in that 6 pick. That would be a dream come true for the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes.
So we'll see how that one plays out. Getting back to this Deshaun Watson fallout, guys, I do want to ask your take on this now that it's happened and you've seen some of the reporting on it. So Peter King, Monday Morning, a long-time NFL writer, Peter King wrote this morning on Monday Morning Quarterback that he is not going to write about what Watson does on the field. Instead, he's going to write about the Browns selling their souls for a player with 22 open accusations of sexual assault. Now, this was always going to be an issue for any organization that acquired Deshaun Watson. We have seen time and time again that a player, regardless of background, regardless of what they do, if they have talent, these things kind of just fizzle out. And again, please, I'm trying not to offend anybody, but this is just the way it is. It is probably wrong.
Yeah.
And I say probably because I don't know what happened. I'm not, right. So,
yeah.
But this is, I don't know what happened with Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know what happened with Kobe Bryant. I don't know what happened with Deshaun Watson.
You know
I
why?
don't know.
Because it's none of our business.
All I can judge
that,
is the player, is he available to play or not? And Deshaun Watson is available to play, at least right now. Look, and you could talk about, Braylon, that Calvin Ridley put $1,500
It's a joke
on the Atlanta Falcons when he wasn't with the team to win a football game, and he gets suspended for the year. Deshaun Watson has 22 open investigations of sexual assault into him, and he hasn't been suspended even one game yet.
Yeah, two things about it, man. One, the NFL only cares about their bottom line. And if you affect their bottom line, like with the situation with Colin Kaepernick, they got involved. The reason he affected their bottom line with him kneeling. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of NFL supporters, a lot of vet supporters, a lot of war hero supporters, they didn't like it. It became a public thing, and the attendance went down after that was going on. That affected their bottom line, so they came together and they got Colin Kaepernick out the league. With this situation, like what Colin Kaepernick is going through with these civil suits with women, sexual indecency, if you will, that affects him. That doesn't affect the NFL's bottom line. It affects him. So I think they allow the court cases to handle it. Court is criminal. He won. Like in criminal court, he won. He didn't. So
that's a way to look at it for sure. He's not being criminally charged.
He's not being criminally charged. So the NFL is like, shoot, now we're good. So we'll suspend him his 6 games, his 8 games, whatever, and let the civil cases play themselves out. Is it wrong? Is it right? Now, that's the argument. That's the back and forth. That's the one where people that support the 22 women, they're in support of that. They think it's wrong. The people that are in support of Colin had his day in court, and he won. They're on his side. So it's tough. You know, it's life. It's not black and white. It's gray. The way I look at it is this. Look, he should be allowed to play until they render a suspension. And that's what the NFL, that's where the NFL has dropped the ball. Let's take a step back. That's where the NFL, I think, has dropped the ball. They could have came up with the suspensions and whatever before the cases were over.
I think they had to wait, Brad.
But even with that, though, the criminal case, they can say, hey, if he's criminally fined, then he can't play in the league for this long or that long. Kind of throw something out there. And then if he wins court, if he wins criminal, doesn't matter. We're suspending him 8. Let's rock and roll and move forward. Now we're like waiting. Now we're trying to play the waiting game. Is he going to get suspended? How many games is he going to get suspended? Is that just due? NFL could have stepped in a while ago and came up with something, so we already had a baseline, so now we can argue that baseline versus arguing it no.
Here's the guy. You brought up Peter King. Let's go back to when the Washington was named the Redskins. I remember Phil Simms said, I'll never call them the Redskins anymore. They're just going to be Washington to me. He was the first guy, I think, that came out and said, then everyone started jumping on board. All right, we're not going to call them the Skins anymore. This is before they were called the football team. And I was like, it's just the NFL. We're just talking. It's just sports, man. They were the Redskins for all these years, and then a couple of people that don't watch football didn't want them to be the Redskins. Okay, that's a done deal. They're now the Washington Commanders. Peter King saying what he's saying about the Browns. I hope the Browns make the Super Bowl because I think he's a bag of wind, if you ask me. Don't tell me you're not going to talk about the Cleveland Browns playing football. You just.
Like, isn't he a football writer?
Right. Yeah, what are you standing on?
Sports Illustrated.
What are you standing on? If the man was guilty and he's guilty completely, he'd be out of the league.
Yeah.
If 22 cases were absolutely real against him, and I don't know if they are, it's none of my business. Right. All right? I wasn't there on the massage tables. I wasn't there when he was looking on Instagram and getting these massage therapists. That's none of my business. I'm a football fan. I'm speaking strictly as a football fan. If he's allowed to play in the NFL, you damn well you got to write about him and write about what he's doing. And if you don't want to, I just won't read you. I don't care. Don't be a bag of wind and stand on just so people can pat you on the back. I think it's bull, and I was a Peter King fan. But you know what? Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
I, too, am no Peter King fan at all, Maz, because, again, he seems to me like this guy
Holier
that is
than thou.
on this perch.
Yeah.
Looking down
Take
upon
a hike.
all these peasants who just are down here. We are all beneath Peter King.
Yeah, God.
And he gets to stand on this holier-than-thou attitude and rain his wisdom down upon us.
Thank you, Peter.
I agree with you. Here's the interesting thing. Like, where was this energy with Kareem Hunt?
I don't know.
Where was this energy when the Cleveland Browns picked up Kareem Hunt after he allegedly kicked his girlfriend?
Oh, my God. You could go down the line,
Like,
Bray.
where was that energy at?
Yeah.
You could go down. You pick any sport.
No,
There's always a bad guy in every sport.
There's a ton of bad guys, man. At the end of the day, I just think going through the whole of the situation in a fast snapshot is this. He had his day in criminal court. Nothing happened. He was absolved in criminal court. That's the end of it. Now you talk about the 22 cases and the numbers. Like, I still think the timing of how everything happened was just so ironic.
You know,
It's so ironic that as soon as Deshaun Watson, oh, you know what? I don't like it here in Houston. I see what they're doing. They don't respect their players. Now I got to listen to DeAndre Hopkins' advice. Now I got to listen to what Andre Johnson told me 2 years ago. You know what? I think it's best if, we part ways. 3 days later, all of a sudden, now he's got 22 women coming out, where it was like 8 initially, and then it kept going up. It's just very interesting.
Remember when him and J.J. Watt walked out? We saw that picture at the end of that year. They both had the best season of their lives. And J.J. Watt was leaving, and you just knew Deshaun Watson was going to leave right with him. And if those cases didn't pop up, like you said, he would have been out the door almost the same freaking day.
100%.
Incredible stuff. Guys, I want to jump back into the NFL in just a little bit. I do want to pause and get in some college basketball now. 7 of the 9 Big Ten teams in the NCAA tournament have been eliminated. One team is left from our state, and that's the Michigan Wolverines. The unthinkable. They are in the Sweet 16. Michigan State is out. Are you more
hell of a game?
Are you more surprised Michigan is still in, or that Michigan State is out? And where is that program headed? We'll get Michigan State talk next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The Bottom Line.
Everything that we've hoped for finally.
He's going deep right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
Braylon catches TDs.
On the slant, there goes Braylon Edwards. Edwards on a foot race, and no one's going to get near him. 80 yards for the touchdown.
Ryan catches Pokemon. We all have our strengths. The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports.
Citron is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. I'm telling you, man, it was a long St. Patty's Day on Thursday. So I had to bring in the Citron for Friday and Saturday so I could watch these NCAA games. And, man, Citron did not fail me. Citron is also the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively sold at LCA and Birmingham Rose. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential items, and great taste, then Citron has to be your top choice. Drink it, live it with Citron. Also, buy online at CitronWorld.com. Promo code RedWings10. Shipping and clothing will be included. 10% off. Citron World.
Hey, don't forget, we got NHL trade deadline. We're about an hour and 20 minutes away. Red Wings made a couple of deals. They made one over the weekend. Today, Stevie Y and the Wings send away defenseman Nick Leddy and Luke Witkowski to the Blues. They get defenseman Jake Wallman. They got Oscar Sundqvist. He was a center and a second-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. The word on the street is there's a lot of teams that, of course, anyone would want him. Tyler Bertuzzi, the word out, there's a few teams that are after
Except
him.
teams in Canada.
Yeah.
And New York.
That's got to change eventually, don't you think?
I think New York
don't
will.
know, man.
I like to keep the kid. We'll see how it goes. D-Mac says, hold on. You never know what's going to happen in the next hour and 20 minutes.
Tyler Bertuzzi says he wants to stay here, and I want him here. He's a great player.
Absolutely.
He does it all. Like, he's really good at doing it all. Letty, we saw that happen. Letty hasn't played the last 3 games, so you knew that they were doing something with Letty, but I just want to know what's going on with the Red Wings. I talked to D-Mac. I got the insight.
I heard that conversation.
I did. You were sitting right there, man, because they've lost 8 of the last 9. They haven't played well since All-Star game, All-Star break. I said, what's going on, man? And he said, when you're giving up 5.5 goals a game, you can't win like that. And I think also they started off so hot this season with Lucas Raymond and Sider coming together with Dylan Larkin. They start Bertuzzi as well. They started off so hot.
Is this the Braylon hockey minute?
They played above where they were supposed to play, and now they're kind of bottoming out. So I think it was always naturally meant to happen this way. I just didn't think we wanted it to.
Marc-Andre Fleury goes from the Blackhawks. Vezina winner last year.
That's the big move so far
He goes to
today.
Minnesota. Yeah, he couldn't wait to get the hell out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Never wanted to be there.
A lot of people feel that same
Absolutely.
way. That Blackhawks organization.
Oh, they're a mess.
Man,
What a
all
disaster.
the stuff that came out.
Guys, I want to get into some college basketball, too. And I want to start with Michigan State because that game yesterday was as good a college basketball game as you'll see in this tournament.
Superb.
It was a well-played game. It was a great game. And look, I've said it before. I'll say it again, and I don't care what Michigan people think about me for saying this. I absolutely love Tom Izzo. I was rooting hard for the Michigan State Spartans to pull that one out yesterday for Tom Izzo because I believe he's one of the great coaches this sport has ever seen, one of the great coaches this state has ever seen, and I really wanted Michigan State to pull that one out yesterday. But there's something about Michigan State now that you look at, and I know they went to the Final Four in 2019, but you're like...
And could have been. Could have
been
won
in
in 2020. Could have won.
And I don't know what it is, and I could be totally off base on this.
I think you are.
But this program doesn't seem to me like one that is on the incline anymore. And am I wrong here?
I think you are.
Am I wrong?
I think it was a bad year. I think all around, I think it was... We're watching them all year, and it's just that the paint play was what destroyed them. Yesterday, the paint players what destroyed them all season in terms of the big guy in the paint, having the ability to offensively rebound, having a guy that you can go to in the post, a guy that also can step out and make the shot. Now, Gabe Brown and Bingham showed up yesterday. Like, they played well yesterday. Too bad nobody else could jump on that bandwagon. Hogarth had his moments, including that tremendous play at the end of the game, which I think is the play of the tournament so far with the backcourt, getting the ball coming down, laying it up with 5 seconds. But it's just been very inconsistent all year, man, as it relates to paint, having that guy in the paint, man. Bingham hasn't been that guy. Gabe Brown hasn't been that guy. And Christie, a guy they thought was going to be the freshman phenom.
Yeah.
He was going to be the guy that could slash to the basket, be the scorer. He hasn't been that. He's been inconsistent. He made a couple plays yesterday, but overall, more of the same what he's done all year. So I just think it was a team trying to find themselves. They'll be a much better team next year. But they played the best, one of the best games that they've played all year, and it just wasn't enough playing against Duke. Duke had too many easy points. I think in the first half to the second half of the second half, if you watch that, Michigan State, all their shots were hard. Like, even though they were right there at the whole game, three-pointers contested, all type of awkward layups. Like, they were scoring a lot of the points at the end of the shot clock, right before it went off. So they had a lot of tough baskets, tough shots. Meanwhile, you're watching Duke, a lot of point paints. I mean, a lot of points in the paint. Banchero, Roach was getting in the paint at ease, a lot of assists, a lot of dimes, a lot of slash and kickouts. So that was a big thing to me, is the hard points versus easy points.
I'll tell you, I think Tom Izzo did a hell of a job with this team. I mean, this team was
There's no doubt about
They
it.
underachieved all year, and you saw him just pushing him. He just couldn't push the right buttons.
Listen to me. You're not wrong.
No, I'm just giving you my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
I still think they're going to be on the upswing. I do believe they will get better. They're going to look at how far they went this year with how they played. And they took this Duke team who's playing with an extra guy Coach K, his last game. No one wants to let him lose his last game.
That was
you know what? They're up 5. Duke let them hang in there, and then they go up 5. And I'm like, one more basket, and they got this. And they couldn't get it, and then they get those 2 Steph Curry 3-point shots, and that was the killer. That was the killer. I think they did as much as they could this year. Could have been a Sweet 16 team. Bad draw to get Duke on the second round.
Definitely.
Bad draw. But it is what it is. I'll leave it to Alex, who watches a lot more Michigan State than I do. But I still think they got some stuff in the tank going forward.
And I want you guys to weigh in on this, Alex and Sam, too. I mean, when you look at this Michigan State basketball team, that's the whole point about this, right? I mean, they're up 5 with 5 to play, and you're looking around for that guy to kind of get you that next basket or stop the bleeding when Duke goes on this crazy attack. I mean, they're outscored, 14-1 in the
20 to
final,
5 down the
20
line.
to 5 down the line. Who is that player to stop that run? Because on the other side, when you run into a team like Duke, whether it's in the second round or in the Elite Eight or the Final Four, you got guys like Banchero. I mean, you got a million guys you can point to. Roach.
I'm not sure Banchero's the guy, by the way, for the Pistons.
I'm not sure either. Well, you know the guy I love now, and that's Jaden Ivey, the guard from Duke.
Yeah. But
the guard from Purdue.
Timmy Mack said there's a lot of better players. I'm going to go with Timmy Mack over you.
Fine. And I would too. But again, I feel like I'm waiting for Michigan State. What's the standard at Michigan State now? Is it like Michigan in football?
Their standard's Final
Is it
Four.
like Michigan in football to win the Big Ten championship
Final Four
and
every
get to
year.
the Final Four? Or is it to win a national championship? You tell me.
I disagree. You were looking at a team with Cassius Winston, like just recently. Cassius Winston won Player of the Year. Like had a really good team there. In 2019, they make it to the Final Four. You look at the 2020 team; they were a really good team. Some say they could have made it to the national championship and even won the national championship that year. That's 2 years ago. They had a bad draw this year. They didn't get that player to step up this year. This is the first year that they haven't had that guy. Every year on the Michigan State team, you're looking at a guy, Miles Bridges, Cassius Winston, Kalen Lucas, and the list goes on. They have that guy. This is the one year they didn't have that guy. Gabe Brown didn't play well all year. Then you had Marvin Bingham Jr. He was just the guy. Hogarth had some moments. Like Hogarth to have a moment where he shows you the play that he had in right at the end of the game that almost could have been a game-winning play for them. But then he'll also go quiet. He'll also not rebound. He'll also miss free throws. So they just haven't had that guy, not to mention Christie. Christie didn't step up. He's still figuring it out. And I think that'll be the offseason project for Tom Izzo is getting Christie to be that guy. They just didn't have that guy. But this is 1 year. You're talking 2 years ago, they could have won it all, and 3 years ago, they were really good.
Joey Hauser averages 6 points a game, won him a Friday night's game. You know, what did he score? 25 points? 27 points? I mean, he won him that game. So he found his guy that day, but they shut him down in this game. I mean, Duke played a hell of a defense. Give them credit. They suffocated Michigan State down the stretch.
I'm going to take a break, but when we come back, Alex, I want you to weigh in on this. What is Michigan State's ceiling now? Because they haven't won a national championship since 2000.
No Big Ten team has.
No Big Ten team. Michigan has been to more championship games in the last decade than Michigan State has. What is Michigan State?
Too loud.
What is Michigan State's ceiling in basketball now? Legitimate question. We'll get your take on that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Makes sense.
Also, what makes sense is for you to call Guardian Alarm. Your local security experts have been for 90 years. Guardian Alarm, you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house that tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
That's right. That's what it tells the bad guys.
Especially with Miles
Whether
Jack
it's your
on.
home or your business, a good defense helps you feel secure. State-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also is going to allow you to control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke, carbon monoxide, even going to let you lock and unlock your doors. All you have to do is call that number right there above my head. 1-800
Stay out.
That's right. That number again, 1-800
Stay out.
Stay out
of here, man.
Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
It's like the Big Ten, man. Stay out.
Talking about Michigan State basketball, guys, and a legitimate question for you. So much talk as it relates to the Michigan football team is that the goal for them is to win the Big Ten championship and make it to the college football playoff. That's as far as you'll ever go because you will never compete for a national title. That's what a lot of the talk is. So I will ask you, is that what Michigan State basketball has become? To win the Big Ten championship and make it to a Final Four, because you will never get past just making it to a Final Four again, because they're just not that good. They don't have that horse anymore. There is no Mateen Cleaves on this team. And even when they had Cassius Winston back in 2019, a really good player, a really good college player, where is Cassius Winston dominating in the NBA right now? I mean, you almost need that guy to take you over the hump and to win a championship. Michigan State hasn't had that guy in a long time. So I almost believe that Michigan football and Michigan State basketball are very similar in how far they can go now. Big Ten championship, Final Four for Michigan State hoops, college football playoff for Michigan football. Not that that's a bad thing, but that could be your ceiling now for both of those programs.
You might be right. I mean, you look at Michigan State. I mean, I still disagree with you. But looking at the results, I mean, 2018 second round, 2017 second round, 2016 first round, and then I still think Michigan State isn't in declination. I still think this is a one-off year. I think they had to have that guy. That guy didn't appear this year. It could be Christie. We'll see. I'm sure Tom Mazawey won't let it happen moving into the 2022-2023 season, but I just disagree. I think Michigan State's still there. I still like what they did in 2019. I still think they were right there in 2020. But to your point, a lot of those guys that go to Michigan State don't necessarily ball in the NBA. Yeah, a lot of those guys. I mean, Draymond Green's the last guy
you
fully
got
balling.
Miles Bridges is one hell of a player, and Jaren Jackson's going to be probably up there with Defensive Player of the Year this year. But those, I mean, I don't know. Did they take over games in college basketball? I don't know.
I think it's hard for you to compare Final Four in basketball to Final Four in football, because in basketball, there's no Alabama every single year that's going to be there.
Duke, Kentucky,
but they're beatable. Kentucky for sure is beatable.
Yeah,
I mean, Duke has won 5 championships under Krzyzewski. Villanova's won 2. We mentioned Jay Wright.
Right.
Everyone else, the best. You got ones. Rick Pitino won 2. Self don't win. There's no dominant college basketball team like an Alabama Crimson Tide in football. I think you get to the Final Four in basketball, you can win it.
The difference is there isn't that one team. I agree with you 100%. There isn't that Alabama or even Clemson, or Clemson was for a couple of years. Georgia now. Yeah. Georgia's the team now. But there's more of them. See, in the NFL, I mean, in college, which should get them to the NFL, there's only 4. There's only the playoffs. In NCAA basketball, there's 62, and there's a play-in. So I don't look at it as they have an Alabama. They just have 5 teams that are always there. Your Kansas is going to be floating around somewhere. Duke's going to be floating around somewhere. Villanova's going to be floating around somewhere.
St. Peter's.
Gonzaga now is that team that's going to be floating around with Coach Few.
Yes.
So I think you don't have that one team. You have 5 to 6 teams that are always going to impede Duke. They're going to impede your process.
They're going to be there, but they're beatable.
True.
They're not Crimson Tide. They're not Georgia. They're not Florida.
I don't know. I mean,
they're not USC coming up.
But look, since
they're always in that Final Four, Elite Eight. Go ahead.
Since 2009, when Michigan State, every time they got to the Final Four championship game, they've lost by double digits, except the 52-50 to Butler. I mean, when they go, they get blown the bleep out.
Yeah. I was at that.
Outside
game.
of Butler, right? Outside of Butler, which was a close game, it was a defensive struggle, but they just get waxed when they go.
I was at the 09 game. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was there too. It was not even a game.
That Ford Field.
So not only in Sam, I saw you raise your hand and weigh in here. So in football, it's always Alabama.
It's the SEC.
But in college basketball, it's always the same kind of team, just with a different name on the front. Michigan State hasn't had that kind of team to compete with. Insert X here.
I got you. But watching this tournament all weekend, I got one thing that always stuck in my head. I wanted to call you guys too. There's nothing better than this tournament. Yeah. When a team that I went to school in Jersey City, St. Peter's, they couldn't beat their way out of a paper bag, basically.
I understand.
And here they are. It's just this is the way you do a playoff. There's no other way. Football has to figure it out. There's no other playoff than this playoff. This is it. The little guy against the big guy. Don't you want to see that? This is really great. Football's got to get their heads out of their asses. They have to.
This is great, and I will address that. Going back to just for 2 seconds, what you said about Michigan State. It is interesting the fact that Michigan has had 2 different coaches, in the past past 5 years, and both of those coaches have had the same level of type of success, if you will. You look at Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard's back in the Sweet 16. He went to Elite 8, I think, his first year. So, I would have had a chance if Livers had not gotten hurt. You look at that, and you look at what Beeline was able to do. Twice he got to the finals. Michigan State they got to do something. They got to do some work to do,
that's for sure.
But basketball is different, man. It's going back to you. The reason basketball is different, there's a ton of great players, a ton of good players in basketball that go all around, man. They don't have to go to the big schools. Kind of like in football, but if you want to be the best in football, you know where you want to go. You know what schools to go to. You know what you know what conferences to be in. Basketball is different, man. You get a couple of buddies, hey, you know what, my grades weren't that tight. We'll go over here. We can get into this school. Basketball is a different type of sport. That's why I don't mind 62 teams in basketball. Sky or 64 or whatever.
Sam?
I was going to say about Michigan State that I don't think we talk enough about how they actually haven't won a national championship since 2000. And they've had a lot of flameouts lately that lost to Syracuse, Middle Tennessee State last year when they were really bad and lost in the first 4. That stuff matters. And I know they made a lot of Final Fours, but the loss against Butler, the loss against Texas Tech, they were favored. I don't think they're a national championship program. And maybe I'll turn it over to my buddy Alex Mayer.
He ain't gonna be your buddy after what you just said.
He probably wants to rebuttal me right now.
But look, as the great Sean Belegian used to say and coined the phrase, facts are mean. Their last 2 losses in the Final Four, they were the favorite, Texas Tech and Butler. They're getting bounced in the second. Now, again, I know you can say what you want about the draw in Duke, but they lose in the first 4 last year. There are problems with Michigan State's basketball program now. Alex, do you concur, or where are you? Is this still an elite basketball program as far as you're concerned?
I will start off by saying that as long as Tom Izzo is our coach, I have no doubt that our ceiling will be Final Fours. But as you've seen in recent years, that we can get bounced early, and I hate to say it, but Sam is right. You're seeing the Giants like Kentucky in this tournament get knocked out by guys like St. Peter's. We've been in that position before with Middle Tennessee State and other schools. So we're susceptible to it just like any other school is. But as of recently, before 2019 and 2020, if it weren't for COVID, I firmly believe we were in the Final Four that year. We were the hottest college basketball team in the country. But last year when we got knocked out in the first 4, and this year, it's just that the lack of talent. We have not been able to string together some good recruiting classes as of late. And like you guys have been saying in these recent segments, we just don't have that guy. And it's going to be up to Tom Izzo to go out and find that guy. This year's class, we have Trey Holloman and Max Kohler. Probably won't be that guy, probably aren't NBA talent, so it's time for Izzo to knock on the office door next to him and Mel Tucker and say, hey, how do I use this transfer portal thing and find a guy that can help us get to the next level through there?
It's a great assessment.
Nice going, Alex.
That's a hell of a question, because you look at it, basketball is changing. Like, sports is changing in college. You look at these the NIL deals. You look at, you can actually legally pay players to play, to come to your school. You can advertise to players. You can say, hey, come here because of this. I wonder how much of it basketball changed in terms of what Michigan State's program was. Michigan State's program was kind of like Michigan's football program in the early days. Like, hey, man, you come here. This is the school. You can stay 4 years. You get a really good degree. You're going to go to the Final Four. You're going to be in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Like, you were selling, like, those old school points that, you know, originally Jim Harbaugh was doing with the Bo Schembechler stuff. He was still selling the program. Like, Bo was still the coach, and Bo was still recruiting kids. You got to change the way you recruit now. You got to change the type of players that you go after. And I just wonder, is Michigan State's program still sexy? And that's the one question I would ask. Is Michigan State's program still sexy with the way in which sport is changing?
I think it is.
Like, that's one thing I will ask you. Like, a lot of these schools adapt and adjust fast. Like, they actually go to players like, hey, you right here, come to this school, we'll get you, you'll be first-round draft pick, you'll be top 5, you'll be lottery. They are selling players on that. Nowadays, like, Izzo's not doing that. Izzo's not going in the line and selling.
The two sexiest names in the Big Ten.
His name is sexy, but the way in which the selling piece for them has changed a little bit. Like, you can't sell that 4-year deal. Like, you can't sell players to stay in college for 4 years and 3 years, especially now that they're getting paid. So
those days are over.
Guys, I want to continue on with this just a little bit, Michigan State talk, and then I want to get to the Michigan Wolverines. I want to get to the Michigan Wolverines here, because that is as improbable a Sweet 16 run as you will ever find in this tournament this year for a team like the Michigan Wolverines. We'll get there next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires. That hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy and the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans. Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
When you drink, what do you want? You want a drink to be satisfying. You want it to be smooth tasting. You want it to make you feel good, and that is exactly what Gypsy does. Take it from me. Also, they've gotten so good now. They have Moscow Mule in the can, and they also do bourbons and whiskeys as well. But we're here to talk about that vodka. Talking about corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. 6, baby. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 for perfection. 50 formulas. Countless taste tests went into Adam and Mike. They did their due diligence. And they got it right. Michigan's gluten-free vodka. Go down to the liquor store and ask for it by name. Ask for Gypsy. Tell them Braylon sent you. And I guarantee you, you might get a discount. But remember, if you're going to drink responsibly.
The Detroit Pistons have recalled Luka Garza from the Motor City Cruise. I'm trying to figure out what the NFL salary cap, how you get from 80 million under to 45 million, 80 million over to 45 million under, or the amount of times in the NBA you could send a guy to Motor City, send him down to the G League, call him up a couple hours later, then send him back down after the game, make him go over here. How many times do these guys get to go up and down?
It's fake. Everything is fake. By the way, Jameis Winston, 2 years, $28 million with the Saints.
It's so great.
And word on the street is maybe that Colts now go after Julio Jones to pair him back up with Matt Ryan.
There you go. How about that? That would be something. Guys, talking about college basketball, going to get into the NFL. Lots to get to, but just a couple of things about Michigan State, because you always talk about who is that guy? Who is that guy? Many people on the chat said, hey, Rocket Watts was the second-ranked player coming out of high school. Well, he didn't perform like that.
Yeah.
Ermanni Bates was the all-everything this year, right? Memphis was actually better when Ermanni Bates was off the floor.
Yeah.
When he got injured. That's when they went on that elongated winning streak. So I don't know about the rankings. All I know is what my eyes tell me, and they don't have that player to take them to the next level. Just about, I don't want to say just about anybody can get to the Final Four, but there's a difference between getting to the Final Four and winning a national championship. No different in college football. There's no different from Cincinnati or Michigan or insert fourth team here, Notre Dame or whoever. There's a difference from getting to the college football playoff and then ultimately winning the national championship. Worlds away were the Michigan Wolverines this year from actually winning a national championship in football. But
unless they played it the following week.
Yes, if they
Right.
unless they didn't take a month off. Yeah, I do too. I don't. I don't disagree with you at all about that. Guys, Michigan, improbable run. Many people believe they shouldn't even have been in the tournament. And I did say, by the way, I said they got a good draw, and they're a team that's hungry, and they could compete. And here they are on their way to the Sweet 16. What do you make of it, guys?
When watching that game, the main thing, they got, like you said, they got a good draw. Colorado State didn't have Devontae Jones, but they played well. I think the big thing that I've watched, they haven't panicked. Like, that's what they've done really well so far in this tournament. They haven't panicked. We watched in the NCAA game, not NCAA game, excuse me, they all are technically NCAA games. But we watched in that Indiana game, we watched them fall apart, but we watched them start to panic. We start to see them, not being able to bring the ball up the court, making bad passes, turning the ball over, can't make layups. Like, they just panicked. In the Colorado State game, they got down as much as 15. They didn't panic. They didn't mind the three-pointers. They stayed in the game. They stayed with it, and you saw the win at the end. The same thing happened with the game that they played against Tennessee. Tennessee's a team that everybody had beating Michigan. They didn't even have Michigan there. Most people had them losing in the first round. But they stayed the course. They didn't panic. They stayed from the jump. They came out the game. They started off hot, and then they stayed with it. Don't get me wrong, Tennessee took some leads here and there, but players at different times stepped up. You talked about, where's Diabate? I haven't seen Musa all season. Where's this athletic guy? Well, he showed up. Gave you 13 points. He gave you 6 rebounds, and although 13 doesn't sound like a lot, every point he scored was at a key moment. It was at a key value. Talked about Brooks. We talked about him being the leader. Talked about him needing to step up. Him not looking like a guy against Indiana. Him not looking that good in the first half of the Colorado State game. He stayed with it. He showed up, 27 points. The hook shot at the end, he scored the last 8 points for Michigan. Hunter Dickinson, we talked about, where's the guy from the Michigan State game? Where's the guy grimming Izzo? Where's the guy grimming the Michigan State players? Where's the guy with that fire? Where's the big man that knows this is my last run? This is the last time I'm going to be in the tournament. This is the last time I'm going to wear that Michigan jersey. That guy showed up. So they had a bunch of different players show up finally, and they just did not panic. It's a big thing why Michigan's here.
I want to read for you a Tim McCormick tweet from earlier today. Michigan's Sweet 16 run, highly improbable. 7 of 9 in the rotation are underclassmen or transfers. Juwan's suspension was a distraction. First-round Big Ten tourney loss. Barely made the tournament. Devontae Jones hasn't been healthy. Michigan is a team of destiny. How far can the Michigan Wolverines go, Tom Mazawey?
Well, they've already outdone what we all thought they could do.
I had him in my bracket. So
I know. You're doing real well in the Woodward Sports bracket, by the way.
Appreciate that.
I told you.
No, I'm not saying it's too early.
Listen, this team, they should never have beaten this Tennessee team from everything I've heard about them. They're just a good tournament team. Can we just say that? You put them in a tournament, and they're just a different team. And Juwan Howard, he needed those. He needed that win against Colorado State. To get this win against Tennessee and then to hug that kid in the line, I just feel that he's back to Juwan Howard. And who's followed him now? The rest of the Fab Five. They're all there now. Everyone's in. They're all in. So I would bet against them. Villanova. I love Villanova.
Right.
They're going to give Villanova everything they want.
You're absolutely right. Everything you said is spot on. I would just go back real quick and just say Colorado State game. it was a great draw for them because Colorado State had no post work, no post players. They had no inside presence. Michigan was able to capitalize on that, especially in the second half, towards maybe like the last 5 minutes of the first half. And then the whole second half, they were able to use that because guess what? That three ball was going to start working at some point. Guys that know the game, you're not going to be shooting lights out like that the whole game. And when it did, Michigan capitalizes, vice versa. Look at Tennessee. Tennessee, no three-pointers. Like, if they could have made 4 or 5 3-pointers, Michigan would have struggled. They could not shoot the three ball, and Michigan played very, very, very unpanicked. Going back to the Team of Destiny, Juwan Howard, man, he's been here. Like, you start to mix in. It's one thing coaching during the season, but it's a different type of energy when you're in the Final Four, when you're in the tournament, when you're in, like, the dance. Juwan Howard, from a player to a coach, has never not been in at least the Sweet 16. Never not been in at least the Sweet 16. And technically, if they win against, they beat Providence, or Villanova, excuse me, if they beat Villanova, then he will, every time he had been in it, he'd been in this Elite Eight. But by the way, it's a Team of Destiny. They got to get that payback on Villanova.
Go ahead, man.
Alex, cue up the Jimmy King. I'm going to play it here. Go back to 1993. Today, in 1993, they vanquish UCLA, the Fab Five does, on a Jimmy King putback to get to the Sweet 16. I figured it's apropos since all these guys are partying with Juwan again.
Yeah, that emotion was different.
You
that
got
emotion,
it, Alex?
That emotion was very special.
7 seconds on the shot clock. UCLA man to man. 3, 2, Rose on the leaner. No. Put back. Does it count? Is it good? Do we have a ruling?
Yeah.
So just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that was good. You like that.
Five.
Let me say this too. I think this win against Tennessee and the win against Colorado State, but specifically the win against Tennessee, was so crucial for Juwan Howard. Because again, we talk about these negative things, and what's the quickest way to make a negative go away? Success. Have there be a positive.
Yeah.
Right? And the hug, the win, the trip to the Sweet 16, the Fab Five in the audience, the locker room celebration that you're seeing right now, it's all gone now.
I don't even like.
Nobody thinks about it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares about it. This is the best tonic for Juwan Howard. And just the narrative. And again, I hate that word narrative.
Get a synonym
Starting to seem like you like that
So
word.
come up with a synonym for
because
narrative.
it's so true, right? Like the media.
What's wrong with the word?
The media creates how the public views an individual.
Right.
And I hate that power. Not that I have it, but I'm just saying I hate that power that the media controls over individual people.
You hate how we get the narrative. You don't necessarily hate what the narrative stands, like the definition of the narrative. Gotcha.
Like I hate that the media takes this and look, I was just I didn't like what happened at the end of the Wisconsin game. I didn't like it. But that's all gone now. Nobody's talking about that anymore, and we shouldn't talk about it anymore because this basketball team, man, they came to play. Juwan Howard came to coach. These guys love him. And the fact that Chris Webber's in the audience, the fact that Ray Jackson's there, the fact that Jalen Rose is there. I mean, this is real special stuff, guys.
Where are they going next against Nova?
San Antonio.
So they go to San Antonio.
I don't know if we see anything like this, man. Like I don't know if we've seen anything like this in a very long time.
I got a question about the Fab Five, though. And you guys...
Why they weren't together?
Like, was Jalen and Chris in the same building at the same time and not together?
Yes.
Can you explain this to me next? Ermanni and Edwards. This is such an enigma to me.
And Jimmy, where are you? Get there.
And I don't...
He lives in Texas.
Get there.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. I thought he went to the Colorado State game.
No, he went to he was there
no,
too.
He was there again.
He got the hug from Juwan after the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Juwan hugged Chris Webber.
And Jalen wasn't in the locker room, but
Jalen
Webber
wasn't
was.
What is going
rotating.
on?
They each get time with the kids.
What is going on?
They are separated.
They separated.
There's no question.
Oh my gosh, Ermanni and Edwards.
World Sports Network for the second time. The bottom line.
Don't bet against them.
Nah, I wouldn't.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, everybody, it's Fast from MyBookie.ag. That promo code Woodward. Get your double deposit right now up to $1,000. Just use the promo code Woodward at MyBookie.ag. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend, and it's down to the Sweet 16 now. Who's had St. Peter's still in their Sweet 16? They are plus 22,000 to win the NCAA tournament. Yes, the Peacocks. How about Michigan against Villanova coming up on Thursday night, 7:30? Can't wait for that one. Get on board at mybookie.ag. You first-timers, use the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. It's March Madness. If you have a gambling problem, please use the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about Wing Snob. Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wing Snob has the best traditional wings. Try out our signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Find a location near you and order online. Wingsnob.com. Wingsnob.com. We just have better wings.
Yes, they do. Those lemon pepper is fire.
So, 30 years later, we continue to talk about
the greatest faction ever.
This Fab Five situation. Because I'm watching the game and I see Jalen Rose over here. I see Chris Webber sweating like crazy, like he just got done playing in the locker room. I don't know what's going on there. But why aren't these two guys together? I mean, Juwan is the head coach. You can't sit next to each other. You can't have that group shot.
How about when he applauded Chris Webber for getting into the Basketball Hall of Fame? Remember that beautiful speech? I don't get it. They seem like they're brothers, but there's still something. There's still something.
So, from knowing people inside are connected to this story, let's just say that Chris is just a different individual. Chris is a different dude, and you have to cater to Chris. And Juwan and Chris have their relationship. Jalen and Chris didn't have a relationship, and then for the sake of Chris's Hall of Fame, Chris wanted Jalen there. They wanted to try to kind of bridge the gap or make a bridge or look like they were making a bridge because Chris wanted that narrative, like, there's your word again. Chris wanted the narrative like not there anymore, that there was an issue or there was a problem or that he was the reason why they weren't friends. So, Jalen reached out. He talked about him on NBA ESPN last year, was able to go to the Hall of Fame. They started the moment there, but I think that was all for show. Like, I really think it was all for show. It was all for Chris's Hall of Fame speech. I think it still is an issue. I don't think Chris will ever get over the issue. I think it is what it is for him. He's moved forward. I think Jalen just still doesn't get it because he's like, no, we're supposed to be brothers. I think it's all Chris. And knowing people in that situation, that's a lot of have to do. It was a look last year at the Hall of Fame. It looked like something. That's what Chris wanted it to look like.
Not to be like some preachy
life is too short
guy out here, but I'm into this whole like self-help, positive thinking. That's just I just
nothing wrong with that.
It's how I go about my business, right?
It's a good thing.
I like listening to positive thinking podcasts and stuff like that.
Is this what you were going to say at the beginning of the show?
No, I was going to say something else.
Okay.
At the beginning of the show that I'm not quite there yet. But like part of moving forward and personal growth in your whole life is forgiveness. Like, if you have the inability to forgive, whatever the case may be, it's not the other person who benefits from that, which they do, but you reap more of those benefits than anything. So you have that power to allow yourself that personal growth, that ability to move on when you forgive others. Whatever the reason is that Chris Webber and Jalen Rose can't sit together in a Michigan basketball game, I don't understand what that is. I don't understand.
Not the first time.
Why they can't do that. And whoever's fault it is, I'm not saying it's Chris. I'm not saying it's Jalen, although I would lean towards the fact that it's Chris.
Yeah, it's damn sure not Jalen's fault.
But why Chris Webber does not have the ability to forgive whatever is needed here.
When it's on him.
When it's on him is beyond anything that I can ever imagine, because I don't think like that. I don't live my life like that. Holding grudges. Holding a grudge is probably one of the worst things you could do to stifle personal growth.
Bray, let me ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go back to 1993 and the infamous timeout.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Does he carry that with him forever?
Chris?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Because Jerron was one of the main ones, screaming for the timeout, and they're best friends. No, it's not that is the rift. It was about the Ed Martin situation when all that came out, and they got the banners taken down, and Chris was nowhere to be found, and Chris didn't want to admit it, and he lied about, I didn't take money, and he didn't want to be a part of it, and he wasn't the issue. They all admitted to it. Chris was the one that didn't, and so that started, and then Jalen, they both caddies said some things, and then I think the big deal was the national championship game where everybody was there. All four of the Fab Five members all sat next to each other. Yep. And then Chris said he wasn't coming, and then he had his own suite. Yeah. So they had the game. So I just think whatever is the deal between Chris, like whatever Chris can't get over, whatever Chris can't remove like himself from, is tainting something special. Because can you imagine that moment? And it's not over, because it could happen in San Antonio. I'm praying it does, because I had goosebumps watching Ray Jackson and Juwan Howard and Chris Webber hugging and embracing after the game, and just like, because it takes you, especially if you're from Michigan or you're a fan of the Fab Five, it took me to the timeout and the hurt and the letdown and the year before. Yeah. They had a lot of heartbreak here in Michigan, a lot of success, but a lot of heartbreak. And then fast forward to the Ed Martin thing and the documentary and the ESPN Fab Five piece, and to see that moment was just so special. But just imagine if Jalen and Jimmy are also a part of that hug. Like, it would have been that much better. Like, life is short. Like, life is too short. We've seen that in the pandemic. How many people got in the pandemic? How many people died? How many people are dropping like flies every day? Life is too short for whatever they are dealing with, man. Like, it's not about Chris. It's not about Jalen. It's about Juwan Howard and the University of Michigan. So, I'm glad that they were all in the building. But it would be good to get even if it's a fake-ass hug, it still is a hug that we see and that Juwan feels. So it's not about y'all, it's about Juwan.
Let me throw this out there, and this has always been the sports gambler in me talking like this. Was that game, look back at it. He owed a lot of money, right? Did he throw that game?
No.
Okay,
I understand the question.
I always thought no one ever brought it up.
I understand the question. I think the only reason I would say no right off the bat is because
everybody
of
on the bench
was everybody on the bench was screaming timeout, and it was so reactionary. It wasn't like a thought out timeout.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I always wanted just to say it.
Yeah.
Because it's always been in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And my dad brought me up that way, unfortunately.
Right.
Because he would say every game is fixed. It's like a Broadway show.
New Jersey,
look at that ref. Right. He's on the take. This guy's on the take. To me, everyone's on the take. That's just the way I grew up.
Well, I love that, because I think that about boxing. I think everybody was on the take my whole life. But I agree with you. One-on-one. And it's interesting that you would say that, because when you look back at it, I think the reason why nobody ever thought that is because it was Michigan. Michigan got a different type of respect, and we still do, as being like the straight-laced, the nerds, like, no, they're above that. No, you won't get that at Michigan. That's why nobody ever said anything about that timeout, is because it was Michigan. Let that have been a Loyola or let that have been UNLV.
Yeah.
Everybody would have screamed bloody
No
murder.
question there.
Bottom line, no pun intended, would love to see them get together in San Antonio. This is so ridiculous that you've got to get a shot over here and a shot over here. What about Juwan Howard? What about the kids? What are the kids supposed to think on that team? What are the Michigan basketball players supposed to think about the fact that you can't even sit next to each other? I mean, what's Musa Diabate? What's Caleb Houston? What's Hunter Dickinson? What do these guys think? Could that be us 30 years from now? Will we be able to sit next to each other? I mean, come on, give it up already. 30 years old, this silly feud that really only involves one person here. I think Chris Webber is really I know I said I was going to
It's Chris.
lay blame, but Chris Webber's the only person that can't deal with this.
And you know, as a head coach, especially a guy that's still young or not, like, age has nothing to do with it. A guy that's played the game, a guy that's now coaching the game, you know what he's telling his guys. You know what he's telling his boys. He's like, hey man, these are your brothers. Like, look to your right, look to your left. These guys are gonna be your brothers for the rest of your life. And they look at each other like, bulls.
Yeah, right.
But that's why I said it's real. You said that because they're like, man. I mean, you like some of them, but not all of them. I just want to know. Ray Jackson was sitting next to Juwan. Like, I just want to know where's the cutoff? I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
I want to know where an hour and 24 minutes went.
So having fun on a Monday. Guys, I want to jump back into the NFL, and I want to ask you a question. We touched on this a little bit on Friday, but Braylon, you have not had an opportunity to weigh in on this. And as we sit back and think more about it, is this 2022 NFL season, will it be the greatest NFL season of all time?
Oh, yeah. We talked a little bit about that on Thursday.
Will it be the greatest of all time? More teams have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl than at any point in the history of the NFL. We'll go there next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Mornings in Detroit just got bigger. Starting April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show. That's right. The Motor City icon is now going to be on Woodward Sports every morning. So make sure you're waking up 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily to hear the Detroit legend along with Adam right here on Woodward Sports.
SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues surrounding mental health and substance use disorder. With the top help of NFL alumni Sean Jordan, has been able to save lives around these issues. Soon coming to the Woodward Sports Network, actually already in business is This is the F Word, and the F Word is fentanyl. That is a podcast that we are doing with Sean, and it is going well right now. SMA growing really, really, really well. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com, thesportsma.com. All your questions will be answered.
By the way, Al Michaels gets Joe Buck money. It's official. He is the Amazon Thursday Night Football NFL voice, and he will be teamed with Kirk Herbstreit. That means Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth will do Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
It's official.
You know,
amazing.
It's a lot of money out there.
Yeah, nice. It's a ton of bread out there. You got to put your name on it, man. We got to talk about that Kenny Chandler moment a little bit, man. Like in terms of what Juwan Howard and the hug and the line. They had a previous relationship. Kenny Chandler played with Juwan's son, Jet, AAU basketball for some years. But just like you talked about, man, just that narrative, man, like talking about what happened with Coach Gar and the Wisconsin's assistant coach. Until now, that moment in there, man, that's not – and I saw a lot of that out there, a lot of comments, a lot of, oh, he needed that moment. And, oh, yeah, maybe he did. But people were saying it was a forced moment. It's just who he is. And that's why Jalen was so hurt in the moment, thinking he can get fired. It's like, oh, man, you got this amazing guy, this guy that loves the game, this guy is passionate, this guy is going to teach these kids good values, core values, lifelong lessons. And you saw that in that moment, man. He's a passionate guy. Hey, that's why he took a swing. You know what I'm saying? Guy was coming up on his players. He took a swing. Should not have done that. Michigan doesn't condone that. We don't condone that. I would have done the same thing. I would have got in trouble too. So before y'all look at me like I'm holding it out, I would throw a punch too.
So great.
But that's part of the passion. That's part of the passion of the game. That's part of the fire. And that passion, we were talking about it on Thursday.
Yeah.
What can Juwan do to get that fire back? Because he was coaching a little timid. You saw it in the Indiana game, not knowing where to put that fire, where to put that passion. I think it's kind of naturally come back. I think you saw it in the Colorado State game, and then you see the game his players played against Tennessee, and then you see the hugging line. And not only just Juwan Howard, but also Chris Webber. Chris Webber had a moment with Chandler behind closed doors as well in the hallway. So just a great moment for both those guys reaching out to that young man.
By the way, Michigan a 5-point underdog against Villanova. Let me give you the other games. Gonzaga 8.5 favored over Arkansas. Texas Tech favored over Duke by a point. How about that one? Arizona, who escaped with their lives last night, giving 2 to Houston. That's your best bet of the week. Houston is going to beat Arizona. I'll take it right to the bank. And then on Friday, the Peacocks of St. Peter's getting 12.5 against Purdue. Take the Cocks all day long. Kansas giving 7.5 to Providence. I love Providence in this game. Love Providence over Kansas. UCLA 2 over North Carolina. I like the Tar Heels. And Miami 2.5 over Iowa State.
Look at that. So, Maz's picks of the week.
I'm telling you right now, Houston is going to the championship game.
Okay, so maybe that was a little left over from Adam was here on Friday. I caught that joke, by the way. That was a good one. I like everything you said. I just don't like the Arizona pick. I know they got tough. Yesterday it was a tough call. It was a close game. They had to win them in overtime. But, man, that joker, Benedict Mathurin.
Woo!
Christian Coloco.
Wow, did you see that game finished?
Christian Coloco is their center, boy. Oh, my God. It just anytime you have a big man that can rebound, shoot, and throw his weight around it, that's why Hunter Dickinson in Michigan will have a chance. It's because of Hunter Dickinson. When you got a big guy like that, Coloco's a big guy, soft hands, good ball. Pause. Hey, man, watch out for Arizona.
Pause. I love that.
Did you see when he jammed the ball instead of like laying it up at the end of the first, right before regulation ended? I know, Ryan, you probably was sleeping at this time.
Oh, God, I mean, if it was after 9:30.
Arizona breaks away with the ball, and as the gun goes off, he jams it. If he let the ball out of his hands like just a split second earlier as an easy layup, they win in regulation.
Wow.
They wound up winning in overtime Anyway, it was a phenomenal finish.
Unbelievable.
All it needed was a great announcer. That's all it needed.
Unbelievable. By the way, speaking of announcers, that Kevin Kugler, man.
He's terrific.
Is terrific.
He kept me in the car on Saturday.
Terrific.
Kept me in the car.
Kugler.
Yeah.
Him and Robbie Hummel make a terrific duo.
I'm telling you,
Hummel.
he's terrific.
Nice.
Guys, let me jump into the NFL real quick. There are more teams that have the ability to win the Super Bowl this year than at any point. As I went back through the years,
NFL history,
I don't think we've had a season like this before. In the AFC, 11 of the 16 teams have a legit shot to win a Super Bowl, I think. They have what it takes. The Bills, the Pats, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, Titans, Colts, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. In the NFC, the Packers, the Bucks, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Eagles, I think you have to include in this list with 3 first-round picks. One team I didn't even mention is the Cowboys, who with Dak Prescott, I think, gives you a chance in that NFC East to get in every year. But my goodness, guys, that's 15 teams, potentially half the league have real shots to win the Super Bowl this year. Real shots.
It goes back to a little bit what we talked about earlier in terms of these kids. Like, as kids, they're learning technique, they're learning drills, they're learning how to do things, they're learning footwork. So they're learning how to catch the ball the right way, they're learning how to run the right way. So you add that into it, that makes a lot more better players, which means from round 1 to round 7, there is a ton of hidden gems in there. There's a ton of good talent in there. There's a ton of great talent in there. So guys, and also these NFL GMs, these coaches, these front offices, they're coming up with more creative ways on how to do things, how to find players, on where to pick players up from, on what to get rid of. I mean, you look at Snead's thing, get rid of the draft picks and just make moves in free agency, build your team up and then kind of make those power moves. I just think analytics / players being really good, starting at a young age, getting in that work, that skill set, learning that skill set, it's making for there's just an abundance of talent. And this is the year you see it. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. Last year's NFL was the greatest I've ever seen. And I you know me, I'm a 70s guy.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Ken Stabler. Give me, Brian. Give me Bob Greasy.
Yep.
Joe Namath before that. Give me this beat it. This last year beat it. And this upcoming year, I've never wanted a season to start more than I want this one to start.
Let me say this, too, about last year. I think last year kind of got this wheel moving. Yeah. And I think it's because of this game. Put up the Daniel Jeremiah tweet, if you could, Alex.
That's right.
The Buffalo-Kansas City playoff game was a turning point moment in the NFL. The quality of quarterback play was off the charts, and it had to hit home with every head coach, general manager, and owner. Is my quarterback good enough to compete with that? That is the question that every NFL team had to ask themselves watching that game, with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen going mano a mano at the end of that game in the fourth quarter, down to 13 seconds, down to overtime. You thought Mahomes had won it twice. Then you thought Allen had won it twice, only to have Mahomes win it again twice.
And
that's the essential question that every team has had to look at themselves in the mirror this offseason, and that's why you see a Deshaun Watson getting $230 million guaranteed, despite some of the things that he's got going on off the field.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Just two things I would say to that, or just to add on to that, is the season started off with a bang. Like that was the culmination of the season and of these great young talents and of these guys that are getting big checks. It started off with the Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr show. At Allegiant, remember that game, Monday Night Football, the first game of the week? That was an amazing game, and you saw these two quarterbacks just going at it, and you saw these teams, and you could watch in that moment with Lamar Jackson running like he was, throwing the four touchdowns that he had, Derek Carr coming back to get the win, and like watching them, it's like, man, this future NFL is bright. And then, the weeks preceding after that, it's just Herbert after, one young quarterback after one young quarterback. The interesting thing to that is they had that amazing game, and neither one of those quarterbacks were in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Mahomes and Allen had this amazing game, the best game I ever seen. The damn
you won't see one like that again.
You said what?
You can't. You won't see one like that
far
again.
and few in between. Like, best game I've seen ever in my life. They didn't even make the Super Bowl. So that lets you know, to that tweet, you got to have a quarterback that can go out there and be in the moment like that, where you say, hey, you know what, I think my guy can take those guys, or I think my guy can be right there. Because if you don't, you better have the defense of all defenses.
And that's why I think when you look at the odds for this upcoming NFL draft, they have Malik Willis being taken too. Not the fact that Malik Willis is going to be taken by the Lions at 2.
Who'd you talk about week 1 of the college football season?
Malik Willis. Isn't that my guy that I said that?
And here we are still talking about him.
Because I think he has just about every attribute you want in a quarterback. Now,
he's got a big arm.
He's got a big arm.
Some height.
And he's a big quarterback, but he's more of a pocket guy, too, that uses his feet to elude. Like, he's not some crazy running quarterback that you're worried about that's going to get injured all the time. I mean, he uses his feet to his advantage, but he's more of a pocket guy.
When people see, and this is no racism. Everybody think I'm always playing black and white. When you see black quarterbacks, usually the thing is they can run. It's like, oh, it's just a guy that's going to run.
Right.
So, because let's call it spade a spade. Most black quarterbacks can't run. But that's what you see. He's not that type. It's like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a pocket passing quarterback. But oh, by the way, he can run. Russell Wilson is a pocket passer. But oh, by the way, in his first 8-9 years, he could run. So he's one of those guys that fits that mold, man. Yeah, he can run, but that's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to stay in that and deliver bombs and deliver passes. But if he has to, he can use his two legs.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
Right.
He's not going to run for 100 yards a game. This is a much different quarterback. Like a Deshaun Watson, like a Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's
right?
good.
I mean, that's who this player is like. And I think you have to really consider him moving forward now, because we asked the question, is Jared Goff the quarterback that's going to compete in the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen game? Is he that guy? Is Malik Willis that guy? We'll find out.
I tell you what, Jared Goff actually was in one of those games. Remember the infamous game with
Hell
the Rams?
Yeah.
There
Mexico
you go.
City, but they played it in L.A.
They played it in L.A. That
Chiefs
was another good one. Chiefs-Rams.
Chiefs and Rams.
That was a hell of a... Was it 54-49?
I think they were both in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
54-49.
Monday Night Football.
That was a hell of a game.
Guys, there's a couple of stories I want to get to in the next 30 minutes, in the next 20 minutes. One of them is in regards to Carlos Correa's contract.
Oh, man.
Because you look at it, you're
What
like,
happened?
oh, God. How did we miss this?
Yeah.
How did we miss this? We'll talk about Carlos Correa's contract, and if you had to do it all over again, would you do something different?
Would you wait?
Yeah, right. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, I want to talk to you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac located in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You heard about GM announcing the 2023 Corvette Z06. Well, Les Stanford is your Corvette king. That flat plane V8 capable of 670 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. The only place to buy a Corvette is from Les Stanford Chevrolet in Dearborn. For more, head over to CorvetteKing.com, CorvetteKing.com, or if you want anything else in regards to the Chevys and Cadillacs, they got you covered. Don't worry about that chip shortage. Don't worry about the supply chain. They'll get the car you want. Just go in and talk to them. They're located on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Hit them up online as well. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com, Les Stanford.
Find new roads.
Also, let me tell you about this, guys. Woodward Sports sending you to New Orleans to see the college basketball finals. Listen,
good.
Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show, afternoons with Big D Energy, and the bottom line. Want more chances to qualify? Be sure you're following Woodward Sports on Twitter, Instagram, and head over to woodwardsports.com.
Go see the Wolverines.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, man, pay attention, sign up, because you can get free airfare, hotel, and you get tickets to the final game. Come on, man. It's an easy process, man. We're trying to put it out there for you. All you got to do is sign up. All you got to do is sign up or listen to the show so you can qualify. Qualify with questions and answers. We got a question today. Alex?
Okay, so the Peacocks of St. Peter's were the third 15 seed of all time to make it to the Sweet 16, joining Oral Roberts, who did it last year, and another team in 2013. The first person in the chat to name the team in 2013, the 15 seed, to make it to the Sweet 16 is our qualifier.
Solid. Good one today, Alex. Good one today.
Excellent.
So
I like the delivery, too.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on the YouTube chat for that. Actually, breaking news in the NFL before we get to the baseball. Marcus Mariota.
Is he coming to Detroit?
Nope.
He's going to start.
The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons.
2
Marcus
years.
Mariota. That's always hard, I feel like, for an organization, right? I mean, the head coach is trying to win football games, right?
Yeah.
The head coach is trying to do that. Do we have a winner here in this YouTube chat or no?
Yes, we do. Pistons fan 11.
Is that
Florida
who it is?
Gulf Coast?
Florida Gulf Coast. Piston fan 11. So here's what you do, Piston fan 11, who got the correct answer, Florida Gulf Coast.
Congratulations.
You need to email.
Didn't they beat somebody?
I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com. I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com. Just say who you are. Sam will get back to you with the other information that he will need to get you qualified. I think we're given that at the end of this week, potentially. I believe we're going to be naming our qualifier.
Sounds good.
So yeah, 25th. So I mean, that
25th. It's over. So
there it is. Look at those three. Look at those three teams.
There
Oral
you go.
Roberts last year. They almost got to the Elite Eight. Oral Roberts.
Absolutely. Hey, just about this Mariota situation, though. It's always hard for an organization because now I feel you have to show the players on your team that you're trying to win. You can't go out there with Matt Hasselbeck or whatever.
Well, they could have got Matt
Schaub back or something like that. But at the same time, I feel like Marcus Mariota is just good enough for you to win just enough games to be
mess
out of
up.
any hope of finding a quarterback in next year's draft. How do you go about navigating that as an organization? Think about that.
You
right?
start your rookie quarterback in week 3. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't win that many games last year. They were the eighth, what are they, the 6th pick or the
8th pick.
The
They
eighth
pick
pick,
8, Panthers
based
pick
on what they
6.
had last year. You bring in Marcus Mariota. Calvin Ridley suspended essentially right now, as we know it. The whole season, offensive weapons in terms of skill positions, it's not that tight. So you bring in Marcus Mariota, who's a guy I wanted here, really wanted him. I think he'll do well at some point, but it won't be next year in Atlanta.
So you got Mariota.
Hold on, guys.
Tom
I
Brady.
just want to stop this right now. Piston fan said he's already qualified. So the Deaton show, I feel like, is the next qualifier.
Okay, sounds good.
So the Deaton show, who also put in Florida Gulf Coast, the Deaton show, go ahead and email I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com. I love March Madness 2022, the Deaton show,
Thank
today's
you, Piston
winner.
fan, for
thank
telling
you.
us.
Yes, thank you for that. Alex probably, or excuse me, Sam would have probably noticed that as well, but this way we get Deaton show involved.
So listen to the NFC South. Tom Brady, Marcus Mariota for Atlanta, Jameis Winston for the Saints, and Sam Darnold right now / Cam Newton for the Panthers. That's 3 bad quarterbacks and 1 GOAT.
So Tom Brady, just slot him into
the playoffs and definitely the
home
winner
field
of that
advantage
division.
in the first round
Look
of the
at
playoffs.
those 3 teams.
And did you see Brady today, by the way, working out with Julian Edelman?
Edelman, can you go away?
So, hey, man. So
You know he's coming back, right?
Yeah,
I hate that guy.
Because last year was the only season that he's missed so far. So he'll be back. He stays in.
I think he missed 2. He missed the last one in New England.
Oh, you're right.
And then he missed last year. Julian Edelman has maintained he's not coming back, but he looked good today and was kind of joking about how healthy his knee is now. I don't know. You could see a reunion with Edelman, Gronk, and Godwin and
Gage,
Michael Evans.
Gage, the other guy. Oh yeah.
Come on now. They're
Larry,
going for it.
What's
Larry
going on with
Fournette.
Carlos Correa, man? Talk to me about this Carlos Correa situation.
So Carlos Correa signs a deal with the Minnesota Twins worth 3 years,
which is shocking. Right there.
$105 million, essentially, with a player option after each year. So it could essentially be a
It's 3
one-year
one-year
deal.
deals.
It's 3 one-year deals, with the player having all the power. If I told you that you could get Carlos Correa for 3 years, $105 million, he might only be with you for a year.
Right.
Or Javier Baez on a 6-year, $183 million deal, what would you choose?
Is that what we paid him?
Yeah.
And Trevor Story just signed for $140 million for 6 years with Boston. Boston stole him. Oh, jeez. Makes me sick.
Should they have waited?
Well,
And how do you wait?
how do you wait?
How do you wait?
You know what? It would have been different.
Yeah.
If there was not a lockout, Correa would have gotten the money he wanted. Because of the lockout, him and his agent comes up with this great deal. Hey, let's do this because guess what? Next year, I'm not staying in Minnesota. I'm going to go out on the market again, and there ain't no lockout, and there's a ton more money coming in. He's going to get more than he wanted. He's going to get $400 million.
2 things. Either one, he comes back to the Lions next year. They try to structure a deal next year. Maybe they bring in Carlos Correa next year if he does this 1 year would opt out. Or thing 2, maybe he just doesn't want to be around A.J. Hinch. Has anyone ever thought about that?
No, he had breakfast with him. We saw that.
I'm just messing
They're
with
best
you.
buds.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you.
I know. They're best buds.
I'm just adding some unnecessary.
Let's face it. The Tigers had to do what they did. You know what? They pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
We're all happy when they pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, we got somebody. You know, this lockout, if this lockout happens, if it doesn't happen, we stole that guy for that money. But then now the lockout happens, and these cheaper deals are happening. So now you get buyer's remorse. It's like when you lease a car, and then next month that same car is $50 less
It's crazy.
a month. It's the same.
It just makes you sick.
It makes you sick, but you got yourself a brand new car. You still got a brand new car. You got a Corvette.
Yeah, and that's how the Tigers fans need to look at it. They do have a Corvette in Javi Baez, Tucker. Like, good situations, good things are playing out for the Tigers. And they still have money to spend, money to use. So I think the Tigers are in one of the better situations in the MLB.
Want to say this as
American
well about in the NBA. Zion Williamson will be out the remainder of the year. The Pelicans, too, in the thick of things in the
Fly
playoffs.
Pelican.
Talk about buyer's remorse. I mean, the New Orleans Pelicans have to have buyer's remorse on Zion Williamson. I mean, and again, if all things are created equal, you're probably taking Zion Williamson again. And I think you and Jalen, when we had Jalen on, convinced me of that. But all things are not created equal anymore. You've got a player who's out and a player who's right up there for MVP of the league. I mean,
he's the next LeBron, Michael Jordan. He's the next superstar.
He is.
That's what he
really
is. Yeah,
special,
That's
John
what
Morant.
Ja is special. I think one thing about the Pelicans organization is we knew what they were before Zion even got there. We knew that they were a bad front office organization. Deals they've done. Players have come up, talked about them. AD is one of the players. I'm not sure he's the best advocate for it, but he was there long enough, man. You see how the coaches, Alvin Gentry, the coaches that they've gone through, it's just a bad situation. They've said and done some things. They have some fighting, and he doesn't want to be there.
Think about it. Both those first round picks, those were fixed drafts. They wanted AD to go to New Orleans, and they wanted New Orleans to have the number one pick. Both of those, they were fixed drafts.
Yeah,
no question about it.
The one thing that scares me about Ja Morant is when I look at Ja Morant, I look at Russell Westbrook, I look at Derrick Rose, and what you see is these athletic guards, these athletic point guards to be exact. These athletic guards, man, that can't barely shoot a little bit. They're not great shooters. They're okay, decent shooters trying to find themselves. Supremely athletic. They go to the paint a lot. Ja Morant, I think, leads the league in dunks or something like that. Something I saw where his percentage of dunks, some fact, I got to get it right. I'm scared that Ja Morant is going to fall in line like Russell Westbrook, tear his ACL, tear his meniscus, like Derrick Rose, tear his ACL, tear his meniscus. Don't want to put that energy out there. But when your point guard is in the lane, he's up that high 10 to 12 times a game. Like, it's only a matter of time. I need him to develop a jump shot so that he doesn't become the next one.
Hey, do we have the easy video? You guys got to see this if you haven't seen it already. And if you're
That's the heavyweights.
if you're not following, if you're not following Woodward Sports over the weekend on the social media channels, it's really fantastic. We're gonna play Easy, one of the heavyweights on Woodward Heavyweights. If you're not listening to those guys, and Spencer and Easy from the Woodward Heavyweights had some lots of fun this weekend.
That was great.
Play it for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy and the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans. Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, everybody, you got to get out to the Folding Warehouse at Hamtramck. If you haven't done it yet, you're missing out. It's a football bowling game, throwing a football at bowling pins, invented by Chris Hutt, great host, him and his wife, Noni. Make sure you tell them that Maz and the gang here at Woodward Sports sent you out there. Couple ways to play, $10 unlimited open play, and you have a private lane reservation, 2 hours, $120, could fit 10 people on a lane. Bring your own food in or have it delivered, get your drink on. They got multiple full bars, over 100 beers to offer, and a $2 mystery beer machine. If you haven't done it, go get your fold on right now at thefoldingwarehouse.com.
Guys, if you're watching, sorry, please go ahead.
Hey, man, it's that time of year. You see the shirts. Slower sleeves starting to come out a little bit, trying to act like I'm in shape. That's because I got my black card from Planet Fitness, because guess what? Your fitness is essential floating around this spring, summertime a month. Only $10 a month is what they're charging you to get a membership, and then $22.99 for the black card, which comes with access to over 2,000 locations, hydro massage chairs, and also unlimited tanning. And also you get access to the new Planet Fitness that is in Midtown as the Detroit Performance Center. Planet Fitness, get it done. PlanetFitness.com, where your fitness is essential.
Very essential. I forgot what I was going to say. So that's all good. Very
March?
good. Hey, gang.
What do you say?
What were you going to say at the beginning of the show?
I was going to say, don't be soft. That's what I was going to say. So, don't be soft. So there's so many soft, like Baker Mayfield soft, Matt Ryan soft, Peter King soft. Like, deal with, like...
Matt Ryan soft?
Yeah, well,
how's Matt Ryan soft?
I think Matt Ryan, just like, he wasn't soft. Fine, but you're recruiting another quarterback, so there's no way I'll go back and play for the Falcons because you're recruiting another quarterback. Like,
what am I supposed to do? Like at the end of the day, my time is come and gone, and there's nothing wrong with that. I get it. You guys got to move in a younger direction, new guy. You got a guy who's the hottest free agent that there ever was, according to his deal. You can't, I get that, and I'm cool with that as Matt Ryan. But at the same time, I'm not about to sit here and play on a bad team and be leftovers. No, hell no.
He definitely won, but either way, it was fine. Just don't be soft. That's the story of the day. Even take Matt Ryan out of it. Just don't be soft.
Yeah, I agree with Baker Mayfield.
Though. Yeah, but
I agree with that one.
Same situation.
I'm here, Cleveland. Thank you for everything.
Guys, this is great over the weekend. The Woodward heavyweights, Easy and Spencer went out and wanted to check out some knowledge about the new Lions quarterback, some additions at quarterback. Here's what the fans had to say. Take a look.
Ray, how do you feel about the Detroit Lions' new backup quarterback signing, Adam Beydoun? How do you feel about that?
He's a decent player, but I wanted a big move. We need somebody who can do something.
Somebody like Adam Beydoun. You think he's something?
I think he's going to be all right.
Okay, and how do you feel about their cornerback signing, Nick Leach?
I love it. I love
Nick Leach? Yeah. How do you feel about Nick Leach as a player?
I'm all right with it. What I heard of him is all right.
Okay.
What do you think of our new backup quarterback, Joey Namath?
I think he's the best.
He's so good. He's kind of hot.
He's kind of
think he's really good?
What do you think of Detroit Lions' new backup quarterback, Nick Leach?
I think Nick Leach needs to do anything he can to save the Detroit Lions.
They suck, right?
They suck ass, and it's embarrassing.
Jesus Christ.
You watch any basketball?
Hell yeah.
What do you think about Northwind ahead of Cade Cunningham in the Rookie of the Year?
That don't make sense. It don't make sense.
What do you mean?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham ahead of Cade Cunningham?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I want clarity on this Rookie of the Year award right now.
What up, though? It's your boy Spencer from Woodward Sports. We're out here, St. Patrick's Day, interviewing the people. We're here with my man, what's his name?
PJ Jacks.
PJ Jacks. All right, we're talking about the Lions. Lions made some serious signings over the season, trying to get some wins on the board. How do you feel about them signing Adam Beydoun for a 5-year, $145 million contract?
I can take that. Adam Beydoun, good move.
Adam Beydoun's good move? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a great move.
Yeah.
Coach, man. Damn,
Tell the force to stay selling pizza. Pizza, hell yeah, man. You got the blunt in his mouth?
Though it's easy to Woodward Sports.
It's easy. Speak easy, baby.
We're here in Corktown and McShane's. I want to ask Lions fans what they think about the new free agent, Nigel Thornberry. He runs a 4-3.
I actually like that pick a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually like where we're going.
What do you think about his off-the-field issues? He was caught in the park. He's beating his dog. What do you think about that stuff?
Michael Vick played pretty well, too, and beating his dog, so I think we're okay there.
That's fair. What about the backup quarterback, Joey Namath? What do you think about him? Yeah.
I mean,
he's like really hairy though too.
Yeah, I know. Hey. Yeah. Well, Golf's got a hot girlfriend, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
Shut up!
But I love what we're doing. I love. I don't really care about the hairy quarterback.
We heard it here first. Woodward Sports, let's go.
Shout out Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go! Woodward Sports,
Good guys, they do great interviews. I see them all the time. I let your boy.
That is fan
Nice
freaking
job, boys.
Fantastic.
That's why in the courtroom it is illegal to lead the witness on the witness stand, because you can damn near make them say whatever you want to. No leading. That was great.
That was incredible stuff, dude. Shout out to those guys, because
I don't want a hairy quarterback.
That is creative as all hell.
It helps when you have a bunch of drunks on St. Patty's Day.
Got to be around them. Can't wait to see what they come up with on opening day.
Gotta have it.
Oh man, we got to be there for that one.
Gotta have
at least a couple of them.
Opening day, baby, it's coming.
What do you got, Maz?
Hey, I got time for a couple.
You got time for one.
How about Aiden Hutchinson hitting that bench? Remember they said he had short arms. He's not going to do the bench.
Yeah.
He puts up 28 on Michigan Pro Day.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Drop! Drop!
That was all I did was run.
Look at this.
You strong.
Nice job, Aiden.
22 at the combine.
You're going to make a great Jag.
I used to rip 225 a couple of times.
Going to make a great Jaguar.
You said.
Oh, God, yeah. I got 315 up 3 times when I was a senior.
I see you. Never came out the game.
Ever.
Never came out the game.
Beefcake over here. Maz, you got one more.
All right. How about C. Webb? We didn't show you him in the locker room, did we?
Nope.
Did we show you C. Webb in the locker room? Well, here he is.
Man, play games, man. Y'all don't even know. 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 You got heart. You're a great leader, man. You coming off the bench, and them 2 offensive rebounds, you doing your thing. It's a family. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud to be part of y'all, man. I'm the two of my pants. I need some sweatpants in here, man. Hey, I just this is one of the most proudest moments of my life. You know why? Because when I call him, I text him. He's like, I love this team. They some dogs. I'm just telling you. This ain't just talk. It ain't just live this shit. You know what I mean? He love y'all, man, and he love how y'all dogs, and it's fun watching y'all. Talk to him.
Y'all special as hell. You want me to tell y'all why y'all special as hell? Y'all brought the black leprechaun out.
You go get him,
the
Ray.
black leprechaun?
He's leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Yeah, them jokers was fake.
That is sweet. Hey, I got a little basketball story.
If you can get up there and have that emotion in that locker room at that particular time, then why the hell can't you and Jalen fix it?
Come on,
that's a great
Please.
question after everything you said. And watching that emotion,
Seriously.
like if you can go through that and then tell these players that, then you know what, man, just practice what you preach.
Seriously.
Did you guys hear the rumor that the Blazers are going to go heavy duty after Jeremy Grant at the end of the year?
No, are they really?
Heavy duty, and supposedly
duty again.
they are going to give, or they're going to offer the Pelicans' #1 pick for Jeremy Grant in the deal that they do with the Pistons. So Troy Weaver holding on to Jeremy Grant when we wanted him to dump him. It's going to turn out that you might get yourself the Pelicans' #1 pick, depending on where it falls, anywhere from 1 to 14.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be a top 5 pick. You're probably
So
not
what?
getting it.
Who cares?
Yeah, I guess
Get
you're
an
right.
extra pick.
Hey, I wanted to tell you guys, if you're not already, follow the Woodward Heavyweights on Twitter. Subscribe to the Woodward Heavyweights channel. We got more great content there. We love those guys. Braylon, get us out of here.
Excited to be back, man. You know, this is going to be a great week. This is a great start to a week. We still have women's NCAA. We still have the NBA. We still have free agent deals of all time. I know everybody in Michigan that was cheering for the Spartans is sad, but you know what? I'm sad too. But you know who I'm sad for? I'm sad for my girl Caitlin Clark in Iowa, man. He went down to Creighton, so I'm extremely hurt right now. I'm still trying to get over that, but I will respond. But we'll be back tomorrow, talk some NBA. We'll see what's going on. You know what, Maz? You knock it off over there, man. For my boy, Maz, Sam, Alex, Amer, Adam Bay doing a stick just popped in the studio.
Adam Bay dude walks in the studio cussing.
This is the bottom line.
Terrible. Quick.
Dr. Moran tells us how he approaches weight loss like a puzzle. So I've got that story tonight at 5. All week we're going to be talking about how to tackle losing weight.
And these poor guys that are just out for a walk, I mean, they don't even know they're being filmed. I mean, it's terrible.
File footage.
Terrible file footage. I hate to be that guy.
What if you recognize yourself, though?
Like, that's me.
Wait a minute.